And joining me right now is Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, good to see you.
Maria, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. So what about that? Your amendment did push you to the yes column.
That's right.
Go through the amendment. Tell us what it does for the states and creating this flexibility.
Well, from the beginning, my focus has been on lowering premiums. And I think that's really the key to bringing Republicans together, to getting this done, to honoring our promise to repeal Obamacare. How do you lower premiums? You lower premiums through more competition, more options, more freedom, giving consumers more choice. And so my amendment is the Consumer Freedom Amendment. And what it says is that you, the consumer, should have the right to choose what health care you want to buy. If you want to buy a plan with all the federal mandates from Obamacare, you should be able to buy that. Those plans will still be on the market. But if you want to buy a different plan, if you want to buy a plan that doesn't have all those mandates, that's a lot less expensive, you should have the freedom to make that choice for you and your family. And what Kellyanne mentioned right there, HHS this weekend did a study, analyzed the Consumer Freedom Amendment, and the results are incredible. They projected that with the Consumer Freedom Amendment, 2.2 million more people will get health insurance than have right now. You know, the Democrats always attack Republicans. Gosh, you know, getting rid of Obamacare reduces insurance. Well, the Consumer Freedom Amendment expands coverage. And the most critical piece is it lowers premiums. What HHS concluded is that the Consumer Freedom Amendment would lower people's premiums by over $7,000 a year. That's a lot of money for a family who's struggling.
Yeah, it sure does. And that would really move the needle in terms of their ability to invest and spend. The CBO score does not include your provision you have pushed, which would allow the insurers to offer these less comprehensive coverage.
Well, that's right. They didn't. They submitted two versions of CBO, one with it in and one with it out, because CBO said it would take them many, many weeks to score consumer freedom. HHS came in and they brought in their experts and they said, we can score it a lot faster. And so they did that. And so that's why HHS studied it, because CBO indicated they were going to take a significant amount of time.
Can this amendment bridge the gap, the split between the Republicans right now?
I believe so. I think it's the key to bringing together everyone, is that, you know, look, if premiums go down, and don't just go down a little, go down a lot, that's a big win. It's a big win for conservatives, but it's a big win for moderates. It's a big win for everyone in the party, because it's a win for our constituents.
Yeah. It's a win for the American people. We know that. I mean, they're talking about huge increases in their premiums right now.
Yeah. Obamacare, the average family's premiums have risen over $5,000 a year. With consumer freedom, not only do they stop rising, they drop $7,000 a year. And then on top of that, another amendment that I introduced that is in this bill is an amendment to allow people to use health savings accounts to pay for your premiums. Right now, that's illegal. You can't do that. Now, why does that matter? Because a health savings account is pre-tax. That means that's an immediate cut for millions of people of 20 to 30% in your effective premium rate. Those two together are all about really honoring the promise we made to get the government off your back and to make health care more affordable for families who need it.
What about the taxes? I mean, Rand Paul was on the show the other day basically saying, I can't vote for something that looks so close to Obamacare. You've got the investment surcharge, 3.8% in there. You've got the payroll tax in there. How could you allow tax increases to stay in there and look your constituents in the eye as a Republican?
Well, listen, every senator is going to have to make his or her own judgment about how to vote. I can tell you I'm a yes on this bill.
Good for you.
I would happily vote for a one-sentence bill, Obamacare is repealed, period, full stop, the end. I think we should repeal the taxes. I think we should repeal all of this nonsense. It's what I've fought for every day I've been in the Senate. The sad reality is we don't have the votes.
Yeah.
We don't have the votes, and I want to get this done. I'm not happy to just give a speech and howl at the moon. I want to actually honor the promises that we made to the people who elected us, to the people who worked so hard. And this bill, I don't think goes far enough, but it goes as far as we can get the votes, and there had to be some compromises to get there.
There you go. You compromised. You're trying to find a way forward, and you're basically saying, look, this is not the 100% ideal for me, but it's come close enough. I'm wondering if your colleagues in the Senate really want this president to succeed, Senator. Come on.
Look, we need to get this done, and we're close, Maria. I think we probably have 45, 46 yes votes right now. We need to get to 50, so we're close. There are a handful of senators who are holding out. I've always believed what Ronald Reagan said. He said, what do you do if they offer you half a loaf? Answer, you take it. And then you come back for more.
Right.
And so my approach, in the course of negotiating this, 6 months ago, I joined with Lamar Alexander. The two of us brought together the Obamacare working group that met every week in my office. We had senators across the ideological spectrum, from very conservative to much more moderate, every week working to say, can we come together? Can we get this done? And my focus was always on lowering premiums. It's why the Consumer Freedom Amendment is in there. It's why letting people pay premiums out of health savings accounts are in there, because that is, it's more than half a loaf. It's delivering on our promise. That's why I'm a yes. And I hope that other senators get to a yes as well.
These are two really important ideas that you've brought to the fore. We just had the CEO of the Cleveland Clinic on, Toby Cosgrove. We were happy to get his take on things because he's there getting his hands dirty every day in terms of the actual cost. He said this bill does not address the cost of health care. It does not address getting ahead of disease, wellness, the fact that much of the reason people get sick is their behavior. We're not doing anything to stop the sugar intake, etc.
Well, and actually I would suggest that he's not looking at the amendments I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because right now what Obamacare does, look, Econ 101, what you talk about every morning, you want lower prices, you want more choices, more options. What does Obamacare do? Fewer choices, and that results in higher prices. So Obamacare mandates that every policy has to be a full-fledged Cadillac policy covering everything no matter what. The problem is that makes it unaffordable for a whole lot of people. Under consumer freedom, you can still buy that Cadillac policy, but you can also buy a catastrophic policy. You can say, look, I don't have the money for the full Cadillac, so I want a less expensive policy that covers me if, God forbid, I get some terrible diagnosis, I get hit by a truck. I want insurance then. Now, the reason I say that is that also goes to the cost of medical care, because if people are, say, covering ordinary care through a health savings account, that makes them much better stewards of that first dollar. It drives down cost. Let me give you an example.
This is their money.
Think of what areas of medicine have cost gone down. Think about, for example, LASIK, laser eye surgery. Costs have dropped.
Elective. It's elective.
Because insurance doesn't cover it. You're writing a check, and if you're writing a check for $7,000 or $5,000, you care which one it is.
Yeah, it's a good. Who are you going to be working on this weekend in terms of changing their vote? Rand Paul, Mike Lee. These are the guys who are standing in the way.
Look, there are a half dozen. You've got a lot of the Senate moderates who are really resisting this pretty aggressively right now. I hope they come on board, because every one of us got elected promising to repeal Obamacare. The vote next week is simple. It's simply to get on the bill to repeal Obamacare.
Exactly.
And I don't know how you campaign saying, I want to repeal Obamacare, and then you turn around and vote against even taking up the bill to do that.
Exactly. Real quick, tax reform. Do you think it happens this year? I mean, are you going to have the same kind of battles in the Senate about tax reform?
Certainly. We will have the same battles. I believe tax reform happens, but I think tax reform and Obamacare are intertwined. If we get Obamacare done, and I think we've got to, then I think the chances of tax reform skyrocket. If Obamacare crashes and burns, I think the chances of tax reform drop significantly.
So what about tax cuts? Then will you just cut taxes?
Look, I hope so, but the problem, we've got an incredibly narrow majority in the Senate, just 52 Republicans. So on any given issue, if we lose 3 Republicans, we're done.
Right.
And the reason I think the two are connected is simply the majority needs to learn to work together. Everyone needs to learn to give.
Yeah.
Before I was in the Senate, I was a Supreme Court litigator.
Right.
And represented Texas, represented major companies in bet-the-company litigation. If you're focusing on winning, you got to bring people together. If we do it on Obamacare, we'll do it on taxes, too.
All right, we'll leave it there. Senator Ted Cruz, great to see you.
Thank you.